Oh hey, welcome to the channel. In this video today, we're going to talk about grinders. Hopefully you find the information valuable. If you do, ensure to hit that subscribe button and like the video. Let's get started. This is where we left off in the previous video after we cut out all of our pieces. And now we're going to head over to the grinder. There are all sorts of grinders out on the market. You just need to find the one that best fits you and your budget. And before we get started, a grinder is a tool that for me is a must. My cuts aren't always perfect and I need something to really take that extra glass off. A carborundum stone will only get you so far, and just smoothing out and taking off a real small bit of glass. Again, if your cuts aren't exact and you have a little of the glass left over, then a grinder is something that you can utilize to take that extra glass off. The grinder also allows to get you that real smooth surface to really get good adhesion, as long as you clean your glass pieces really well after using both the carborundum stone or a glass grinder. And before we get started, I just want to talk about some of the bits that you might encounter. The first bit is a jeweler's bit, or a ring bit, they sometimes call it. As you can see, it's pretty small grinder bit, and you just have to be careful that you're not using too much pressure. It may cause some cracks across your glass. Another bit you might encounter is the 1/4 inch bit. Now, I use this bit for a lot of detail work and a lot of shaping into small areas. And we'll actually use this bit in our project today and shaping our arrows for our heart. Now, another set of bits that you might encounter is what they call ripple bits. These type of bits actually grind down the glass at a somewhat of an angle and really get it down to a smooth surface. So it takes that texture piece layer off on the edges, so that way you can fit your foil on there nice and flat and get a lot of adhesion along the edge very well. And then some of the standard bits that you will see is the 3/4 inch bit, and this will come usually with a grinder, and also the 1 inch, and the 1 inch may also come with a standard grinder depending on who you purchase your grinder from. So these are the standard bits, and ideally when you're using these bits, I always start from the very bottom, flushing it down as low as I can go to utilize just only the top portion, and then as the bit wears out, I slowly begin to move it up. This actually prolongs your bit and use, so that way you can get a good longevity out of your bits. Those are some of the bits you might encounter in your search for your grinder. I'll leave a link in the description below of all the bits that I covered today. If you find the information valuable, ensure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. And if you want to support the channel, be sure to check out the Buy Me a Coffee link down below. With that, let's just go ahead and get started on grinding our pieces for our heart project. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and change the bit to our smaller 1/4 inch bit. Okay, now that we've got all our pieces grinded down, now we'll go ahead and clean our pieces real well to get the paper off and get all that glue off and get the edges all cleaned off really well, and then we'll do a final dry fit. All right, one thing that I like to do when I am cleaning my pieces is I'll just get a bucket of water. For this many pieces, I'll just normally drop them all in so that way this paper is soaking. But if I do have a lot of pieces, then I will just do it in batches so that way, because when the paper comes off, then your number comes off with it. So if you do it in batches, you kind of know what numbers you're dealing with. So as you take it back out and dry it off, you can actually mark it again with your Sharpie marker. I'll just dry off my pieces really well. Make sure my fingers are dry. So you start placing them on. If your fingers are wet, you'll start shrinking up your paper. So I'll get them on there. Just rub that glue off. It comes off pretty easily in there. And then again, just dry your pieces off really well. Now you'll see that as we come over to the arrow section, we may have to go back to the grinder and grind some more, just to ensure that we're getting a pretty good fit with the arrow. That's kind of normal. You may not get it right off the first time if you want a really tight fit. You know, if there is a small gap there, then depending on how you grinded your arrows off and stuff, you'll see whether or not you'll have to go back. So here's where we will see how much more grinding we need to do. That's our dry fit, and I'm actually pretty satisfied with the seams. So we'll go ahead, and the next step will be foiling our pieces. With that, I'll see you on the next video.